Welcome to Please Leave Podcast, home to stories that haunt. These stories may contain graphic depictions of violence or explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
We all remember the last time we saw the sun. For me, it was shining on the palm tree at the end of my driveway, reminding me that I needed to call an arborist to trim the dead fronds away. Now, of course, that palm tree doesn't even exist. We've all been in the dark for months now. We're hungry, we're sick, we're living underground, we're eating bugs. Most people are dead. It's tempting to give in to the victim mindset and lose hope. I know that as well as anyone. That's exactly why I want to share with you the most important tools that I've learned to help look beyond the darkness and find the light within. Before Nuclear Winter, I was an acclaimed life coach, speaker, and author, and I'm not about to give up my passion for helping others now when they need it the most. You may not have long to live, but there's no reason why you can't start living your best life today. It's time to set an intention to make the most of the time you have left, because you are not a victim. You are a survivor. Right now, most of us are in an anxiety spiral. We're obsessed with the problems of the outside world, and that's the problem. We spend so much time fixating on the things we can't control that we give up our power over the things that we can. For example, sometimes I feel like the walls of my basement are closing in on me. I get claustrophobic, I feel confined. There have been plenty of moments where I wanted to crawl out of the laundry room ventilation duct and take a deep breath of poison ash and just wait for the wandering crazies or mutant wildlife to take what's left of me. But my biggest problem in those moments wasn't my basement. It wasn't the fallout. It wasn't the radioactive wolves. And it wasn't the violently insane escaped ex-convicts who survived the blasts better than anyone due to their highly reinforced maximum security environments. The biggest problem was my mindset. It was my limiting belief that I couldn't possibly thrive in a small concrete room with a few resources, cut off from the prospect of having meaningful human interaction ever again. My focus on everything around me made me lose sight of everything I already had inside me. The second I started consciously shifting my energy from the external to the internal, something magical happened. Instead of the walls closing in, my world expanded. There are lots of different tools you can use to accomplish this. Journaling is one proven method to get the dark thoughts out of your head and to make more space for the light. If you've eaten all your paper, just trace the words on the wall with your finger. You can also repeat positive affirmations like, "I am not defined by my species," or "Happiness is a choice I am making today." My favorite method is visualization. Some of us vividly remember the last time we saw the sun. This is a great starting point. Maybe it was turning rosy pink over the ocean while you had a romantic dinner with your partner at a beachside restaurant. Maybe it was reflecting off your daughter's braces as she laughed in the park with her friends. Maybe it was slanting through your office window, reminding you it was time to go home. Or glinting off a silver airplane way up in the sky, sparking your imagination about what exotic destination it might be headed to, making you daydream about your next vacation. Close your eyes and get a clear picture of this moment in your mind. Now, visualize the larger landscape around you. See what else the light hits and where the shadows are. Feel what it was like to experience joy without the threat of instant annihilation or painful lingering death. Now go deeper. This is your world, and you are the hero of your own story. You may be starting out in a park, or at the office, or in your driveway, but you can go anywhere and do anything. You can set goals, find success, and experience fulfillment. You can even travel through time. I once got so deep into my visualization that for 3 days I lived as a high priestess in 1100 BC Egypt. I was the daughter of a pharaoh, and during my time there, we successfully conquered a fertile river valley for our kingdom. There was an incredible celebration party afterwards where we roasted a whole ox, sang songs, and drank a special wine made of fermented figs and honey. Even inside a visualization, it is so important to celebrate the wins and acknowledge your accomplishments. When I left that visualization and returned to my basement, I felt much more connected to the core sense of well-being. For hours, I could still hear the ceremonial chanting to summon the goddess Hathor, and I could feel the warmth of her love surrounding me while I sipped my water ration and pulled clumps of hair from my head and ate a spider. Which brings me back to the physical realm. While mindset is super important, it's also critical that we take time to consider our relationship to our bodies. Are you happy with your body? Are there things you wish you could change? Things you wish would stop changing? How have your priorities shifted? I used to hit the gym 3 times a week. Now, you couldn't pay me to exercise. I'm not about to waste a single calorie on any unnecessary movement. I have different self-image issues now, as I'm sure you do too. For me, I have a full body rash and a throbbing tumor on my neck that attempts to feed negative thoughts directly into my brain via my jugular. This used to make me feel deeply flawed. I fell into a shame-based body identity without making any attempt at positive change. Of course, there's nothing I can do about the rash or the growth, but that's exactly the point. I was focused on the things I couldn't change, and that was contributing to my overall negative self-image. But soon I realized I couldn't let a growth on my neck affect the growth of who I am as a person. Now, every day, I make sure to take a full head-to-toe body inventory and notice all the parts of myself that don't hurt. This is a great gratitude practice, but don't stop there. Once you've appreciated your body, you have to be kind to your body. I like to take self-care days and creatively pamper myself with whatever I have available. For example, yesterday I found some leftover interior paint under the basement stairs and gave myself a mani-pedi with the jade green color that we used for the playroom last year. No, not jade green. It was called something else. Viridian. I originally wanted to go lighter with a shade called Avocado Whip, but Alex said it reminded him too much of a dentist's office. It was the right call. Chloe said the dark green made her feel like a cheetah in the jungle. She'd run around the room on all fours, attacking her giant stuffed monkey. Albert. That was the monkey's name. No. Alfie. Such a British-sounding name. I always wondered where she heard it. Probably some TV show. But we tried to limit her screen time. Screen time. That sounds so old-fashioned now, doesn't it? Maybe old-fashioned is the wrong word. Dated. Chloe called Alfie her emotional support animal. Again, no idea where she heard that phrase. Again, probably on some TV show. Or maybe from overhearing her mummy talking to a client on the phone. Chloe would whisper her little secrets to Alfie, or hug him if she felt sad. It was very cute. Alex and I used to joke that we needed our own emotional support Alfies. I actually planned to surprise him with one for our anniversary. I was going to wrap its tail around a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc from our favorite winery in Sonoma. I can't remember the name of the winery now. But if I do a visualization, I'm sure I can picture it perfectly. I'm driving up a winding road through the vineyards. Alex is next to me, sunglasses on. The tortoiseshell half-frames with green lenses that he bought at a flea market in Majorca the year Chloe was born. The top's down and my hair blows in the wind. Modern English plays on the stereo. I can smell Alex's aftershave. At the top of the hill, the winery grounds come into view. Beautiful old stone buildings from the late 1800s. There's a hotel and a picnic area and a gathering hall where people have wedding receptions. There's a wedding happening outside right now. 2 brides stand under a flowering arbor and murmur vows to each other. We can hear their voices on the wind, but we can't hear the words, so we secretly guess what romantic promises they might be making. We wander into the reception hall to look at the architecture. No one's inside yet, just the caterer setting up. The whole place is decorated with Victorian furniture and mannequins in Victorian costumes. There's a sign that says, "Private event." We better go, I say. "Let me take your picture first," Alex says, gesturing for me to pose with one of the mannequins. A woman dressed in buttery yellow satin with a large felt hat and a cracked face. I kiss her on the cheek, and Alex takes the picture. The flash is bright, too bright. For a minute, I can't see. When my eyes adjust again, the mannequin is looking at me with a horrified expression painted onto her face. The crack has gotten larger, and light from the camera flash is pouring out from inside of her. Her hat is gone. Her hair is gone. One of her plastic hands is dripping, melting onto the floor. That doesn't make any sense, I think. The words from the modern English song play back in my head. "I'll stop the world and melt with you. I'll stop the world and melt with you." "Are you feeling okay?" asks one of the catering assistants. He offers me a glass of water and a piece of sushi. "Have a spider roll," he says. I drink the water and eat the sushi. Both things are cool and smooth. I feel better. Alex takes my hand and we go into the winery building. I feel much better now. His chambray shirt against my forearm feels cool and smooth. I look at his watch. I can hear it ticking, but it has no hands. They must have fallen off somewhere outside. I remind myself to look for them in the grass later so we can know what time it is. The winery and tasting room are inside a giant cavern, built into the side of a stone cliff. There's a mural on the wall showing a Roman gladiator impaling a lion with one hand and drinking from a goblet with the other. Written in the lion's blood are the words, "Il vino fa buon sangue." That means good wine makes good blood, Alex says. The space is filled with giant wine casks that both of us could easily fit inside of together. Like wooden wombs, I think. I imagine Alex and I floating inside one, holding each other like twin fetuses, drinking in the amniotic fluid of a summery Zinfandel. We walk around outside again, sipping from our wine glasses, and everything feels right and perfect. We look out on the green hills, the color of Chloe's playroom, and the sun, touching everything, making the grapes grow, making our skin warm. Under the flowering arbor, the wedding party is gone. They must be inside, dancing with the mannequins and eating spider rolls. Under the arbor, there is only a giant stuffed monkey holding a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc with his tail. He holds it high into the air, pointing with the bottleneck towards a single palm tree. Dead leaves rustle like paper streamers in the wind. Alex is gone now. I'm alone. I'm standing in my driveway, staring up at the palm tree. I should call an arborist to get it trimmed before rats start nesting in there, I think. But it's too late. Rats begin to rain down from the tree, hitting the ground hard, scampering into the street. Some of them aren't so lucky. Some of them burst on impact. The golden sunlight becomes a blinding white flash. The warmth becomes a burn. My eyeballs turn to jelly. My skin becomes my skeleton. When intrusive thoughts happen, the best thing you can do is acknowledge them and move on. Align, get clarity, pivot. Breathe, reframe, transform. The final and most important tool I can give you is one you have definitely heard of before. Maybe you've tried it. Maybe it's even worked for you. It's called manifestation. Manifestation is the process of literally turning an idea into a physical reality. It's like visualization on steroids. It's the most advanced tool we have, and also the most powerful. I saved this for the end because it's so important that I believe it might just save the world. Yes, you heard me right. Now that you've given yourself permission to thrive for the next 7 to 10 months that the experts have predicted for our species-level mortality, why stop there? I believe so deeply in the power of positivity as a physical energy force that I am 100% certain that we can save ourselves if we really try. That key word is belief. In order for manifestation to work, you can't just picture something like you do in a visualization. You have to actually believe it. I'll show you what I mean. Life on Earth, as we know it, is gone. And that's okay. Humanity is strong. We will never truly die. We will always find a way to adapt to new situations. We are not alone. Aliens will soon arrive on our planet. They've always known this day was coming, and they have a plan. They do not blame us for what has happened. The aliens care deeply about us. The aliens love us very much. They will take us with them to another planet which is very much like Earth. It will have all the resources that we need to begin a new life, and we will be so much stronger for all the lessons that we have learned. It will have a warm sun, and a clear sky, and an infinite supply of clean water. There will be some differences, and that's okay. There might be more than one moon. There will be different plant and animal life than the ones we know, except for cats, which will be the same. Our lives will be even better than they were here. We will gain great insight and be able to process our past suffering with grace and intelligence. We will have a long future of peace and abundance beyond our imagination. The aliens will arrive very soon in a convoy of sophisticated spacecraft. They will shine bright lights over the dark and find all the survivors in every corner of the Earth. No one will be left behind. The light is coming for us today. It is coming today. They are coming to save us today. Today we will see the lights, and they will take us to our new home planet where we will gain strength and become well again. We will be empowered to live as our authentic selves and unlock our highest potential. I can see the light now. I can see a bright, white, and loving light. It's coming through the cracks in the basement ceiling where the house used to be, where Chloe's playroom used to be. It is not the flashlight beam of a roving serial killer or the looters who dig through the rubble to pillage their fellow survivors' meager resources. It's not the light of another blast. It's a different kind of light, gentle and warm like the sun. It's not white at all, but tinted green, like a vineyard, like something alive and growing. I will go toward it now. I will leave the refuge of my basement and push through the wreckage of my house and emerge into the light. I will travel through the stars and be reborn into my new life. I will accept happiness into my heart, and I will hold gratitude for our alien saviors. And in time, when I'm ready to love again, I'll get a cat. I'll name him Alfie, and I'll whisper my secrets to him and hug him when I'm sad. Like when I forget the name of the street where I grew up, or the hotel where we had our honeymoon, or Chloe's second grade teacher. I will hug Alfie, and his fur will be cool and smooth, and he will meow and purr just like an earth cat. And that will at least be something familiar. And that will be enough. Because I am strong. I am a survivor. We are all survivors, as long as we believe in ourselves. With the power of positive thinking, anything is possible.
This story was written by Brie Williams and narrated by Lindsey Huebner. For more stories that haunt and a behind-the-scenes look at what we do and why we do it, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/PleaseLeavePod. You can follow Please Leave on Facebook and Instagram at Please Leave Pod. Our email is pleaseleavepod@gmail.com, and our website is pleaseleavepod.com. This has been a Please Leave Media production.